Hey, Real Nerds listeners, there's many ways you can interact with the Real Nerds podcast. You can email us at realnerds@gmail.com. You can hit us on Twitter @RealNerds. You want to check us out on Facebook? You can. Just look for Real Nerds Podcast. You want to leave us a voicemail? Just call 720-6NERDS5. You want to listen to our episodes? You can check us out on Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Ever since I got bit by that spider, I've only had 1 week where my life has felt normal. That was when you found out.
When you botched that spell where you wanted everyone to forget that Peter Parker's Spider-Man, we started getting some visitors. From every universe. Hello, Peter. You're not Peter Parker.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Dr. Otto Octavius.
Wait, no, seriously, what's your actual name?
There are others out there. We need to send them back. So, Scooby-Doo this crap.
You know, all this is kind of your mess. I know a couple of magic words myself, starting with the word please.
Please, Scooby-Doo this crap.
You're flying out into the darkness to fight ghosts.
What do you mean?
They all die fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate. I'm sorry, kid.
Yeah, me too.
Don't.
Look, there has to be another way!
There isn't. They're a danger to our universe.
You're not gonna take this away from me.
Peter, you're struggling to have everything you want while the world tries to make you choose.
This is all my fault. I can't save everyone.
They're starting to come through, and I can't stop them.
December 17th, exclusively in movie theaters. Tickets on sale November 29th. Spider Monday.
This is Real Nerds Podcast. And what you just heard, and have probably already seen multiple times, is the trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home that dropped 45 minutes before we did this.
Second trailer.
And it confirms a lot of multiverse villains getting actual, no more speculation about them. Doc Ock is definitely in it, which is interesting. It seems like he might team up with Spider-Man to stop the villains because if you remember at the end of Spider-Man 2, Doc Ock says, he's not really a bad guy. The tentacles kind of make him that way. And this trailer kind of plays with, oh, you're not the Peter Parker I know. So, and they make fun of him. So I don't know. The Green Goblin is definitely back. He has even some moments in the trailer where he speaks. Electro does as well, but he's upgraded or he's something else. He's not quite the Electro we know.
And you got the Lizard and Sandman in there.
Yeah. And I kind of speculated that maybe Spider-Man and Doc Strange would fight based on the first trailer, and this second trailer kind of confirms it. There's Spidey wants a box that Doctor Strange has.
Yeah, I don't think Strange is necessarily like a Mephisto pretending to be Doc Ock or Doctor Strange. It's just he seems like they just have two opposing ideas on how to fix this problem.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like it might be, Civil War with Iron Man and Captain America. They're not really, either one of them isn't necessarily wrong. It's just they have different ideas and ideals.
It sounds like Strange is probably a little more pragmatic of just like, well, we can just kill these guys and like they're supposed to be dead anyway. And Spider-Man's like, no, we can save everybody. So
yeah, Spider-Man does have a no one dies kind of rule, like Batman,
Yeah, but also he's not tasked with the responsibility of holding the universe together. So
yeah, true.
Strange is probably opting for the easiest solution, even if it's not the most admirable one.
Yeah, I think some people might be disappointed because Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield aren't in it, but they've been saying all along that they're not in the movie. But there is a glimmer of hope at the end where they're on the Statue of Liberty, and it seems like the very fabric of this universe is ripping apart. So there still seems there's probably tons more for the movie, and they're just giving you just a little bit of what he's up against.
Yeah, and I was actually kind of bummed this trailer even exists because I really wanted to go into this movie more cold, but I guess some people out there just need to have the movie spelled out for them before they go. So
yeah, but I mean, they kind of I don't know. I also think they have to. They almost are obligated to, because the hype around this movie is so big. I was talking to you a couple of weeks ago about how it feels like it's the first major event movie since the pandemic, and one that everybody's talking about, one that everybody wants to see. I mean, the tickets go on sale almost. It's in 10 days, or 2 weeks, which will be 3 weeks before the movie even comes out. So I'm guessing they're gearing up for quite the surge of tickets.
I see Captain America's shield on top of a building. Do you know what that's about?
No.
Some kind of memorial.
Yeah, it must be.
And what's with the black and gold Spider-Man outfit?
Yeah, that's something else. It's obviously a suit that there's also another suit that that you kind of see in it. It's basically an enhanced version of the one he had for Endgame. Plus, he has the one that he had for Far From Home, and now this black and gold one. And I don't know how he gets it. Maybe Doc Ock helps him build it. Because, obviously Tony Stark isn't around anymore, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at this screenshot of the city, and there's it looks like they're building a Captain America memorial, even though it doesn't look very good. But where the Statue of Liberty would be.
Huh. Yeah, I'm not sure. So many questions, even though it seems like they gave you some answers. That's what they want you to do. They're teasing you enough so you go see the movie.
How am I looking closer at this trailer than you are?
Because you're in front of a computer and I'm on my phone.
You're not scrubbing frame by frame on your phone?
No.
Disappointed.
Well, like you said, I like to experience things, so I'll watch it a few times, and then I like to be surprised when I go to movies.
Yeah, you're right. Electro does have the lightning bolt face mask. It's just not made out of fabric. It's just, I guess, the electronics form that shape.
Yeah, I'm down. I think his costume
that.
is one of the dumbest in comics, but it's also one of the dopest because it's just so stupid. I mean, why would you have electric lightning bolts faceplate, but I still think. I mean, it looks better than Blue Electric Guy that got a suit that has lightning bolts on it instantly, and Amazing Spider-Man 2. So, there's that.
I found another angle of the Captain America memorial. It actually does look like the Statue of Liberty got destroyed, and they're rebuilding a Captain America memorial in its place.
I wonder. I'd have to go back and watch Endgame, because remember in Endgame 2, when they did kind of the aerial view of New York, some of it was trashed. So I don't know.
Yeah, like I don't remember anything but like Avengers headquarters getting demolished in Endgame. So
yeah.
Oh yeah, actually, there's another screenshot of the torch is there, but the shield has fallen through it.
Huh.
I guess maybe they're just adding to because there's like the whole scaffolding around the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the shield is just hit it, so I don't know. I guess they're adding to it. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, he did save the world a lot. Anyways, that's the Spider-Man trailer. And every week we see a new movie and we podcast our experience of the world. This week it was Belfast, and I apologize if you were expecting Filmsplosion. We had a lot of scheduling snafus. I blame more so you, because you were making the movie.
Yeah, a lot of it's my fault, but once you had problems, it was kind of a, all hands on deck, let's change it thing. So
yeah,
I mean, you definitely could have done without me, but
never.
Like once you're involved, that's all go.
Yep.
The green light for removing this thing. Sorry, I was just looking at another still, and yeah, the Statue of Liberty Island, once the streams are coming into view, the Liberty's there, but I just don't know why that giant Captain America replica shield was there. Anyway, sorry, go on.
That's fine. So Belfast. We also talk about movie news, which I think we just covered with our Spider-Man trailer breakdown.
Yeah, nothing else happened.
Yeah. And movies that are coming out, stuff we've been watching. We do movies. We're a podcast about movies and pop culture. You did make a movie, though. I like your poster. It's ominous. Did you make a serious movie, Brad?
I think I did.
What?
Yeah. It is not fun. Don't if you decide to watch it, don't expect any comedy out of this one.
Wow.
It's
I could tell
dark.
I could tell by the title and the way it's lit that you're taking it a little more seriously.
Yeah. The criteria we got just did not lend itself to anything funny. So we were like, okay, well, this one's going to be a serious one. And we also didn't have a script when we shot it. So we made it backwards. We shot the movie and then wrote the script based on what we shot. So.
And what is, so you're doing a different film festival. What is this one?
So it's the 4 Points Film Project. It's like the Denver one that I usually do, but you basically get 77 hours instead of 48. And other than that, it's virtually the same. You get the same set of criteria. You get a genre. However, you're competing against the world. So they divide things up by time zone. And they added another thing to this year, an extra bit of criteria, in that it has to be a movie that's presented in the form of a tall tale or a legend. So in addition to having a genre and a character, a line of dialogue, and a prop, you have to encapsulate all that in the presentation of a story that's a legend about a landmark in your city. So
is it a spoiler if you tell us what the landmark is?
No, ours, we went with, and the landmark is a bit of a loose designation, but we went with Colfax Avenue as the setting for
very cool
our movie. And, there's parts of Colfax that are pretty dark.
Do you know Colfax Avenue is the longest avenue in the United States?
that's why we chose it as a landmark, because it's not just any
Nice.
street. It's the longest commercial street in the United States. So we're like, that's a landmark, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I'd say so.
That's unique to our town. So yeah, it didn't have to necessarily be a official designated landmark like, the Mayan downtown,
Mm-hmm.
It could just be something that's significant. So yeah, based on the rest of our film, the tagline for it is, like we just said, Colfax Avenue is the longest commercial street in the nation, and tonight it's the deadliest.
Oh, shit.
So
nice.
Yeah, our character goes through some things. Well,
and did I read the poster right that Corinne makes her acting debut in this movie?
Yeah, she and another person have a bit of a brief appearance because Jamie is playing multiple roles.
Nice.
The lead actress, and we still needed some other faces to appear. So, it's definitely an abstract take. It's also supposed to be the genre of supernatural, so we're dealing with some unearthly entities. And I saw a lot of Colfax in 3 days, east and west. So the first night,
bet it was all beautiful.
Yeah, right. It has its good places and its bad places. The first night, when we were kind of figuring out what to do, Friday night, rather than writing, I actually just hopped in the car and I drove from one end to the other, just getting inspiration. So I went as far out as when 40 becomes I-70, and then all the way back to Denver West. So I've seen it all.
Nice.
And then the other 2 nights, I just dealt with people. People just want to know what you're up to, and some just scream violently into the ether. One guy punched a storefront glass.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
He was super angry, and I was sitting in my car, waiting for people to show up, texting him, just like, please don't come to my car. Please don't come to my car. Do not punch my car. So he punched the H&R Block instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuckers.
And then the next night I came down and in the distance I could hear him again from a different part of Colfax. I was like, oh my God, this guy roams nightly. Ugh.
Well, what happens is you take drugs and it keeps you up and it makes you paranoid and you run around and do stupid shit all the time.
Yeah, without your shirt on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, not that I do drugs. I'm just, I deal with people that
I'm sure you deal with these lunatics. Yeah.
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 Drugs are bad. Well, congratulations on another project.
Yeah,
hopefully
I don't
get to see it soon.
Yeah, I don't know when that's going to be. The 4 Points doesn't have a local screening, so it's just I don't know when the okay is. I don't know when they're choosing films. I don't know when they're picking the winner. Yeah. So
well, I guess it'll be like some of your other films. After it's done with the circuit, you'll make it available so we can watch it.
Yeah. I don't know. It might be good enough that we just not do that and submit it to festivals.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's
to hear.
It's really different. The rest.
Well, I get to see it, right? You'll send me so I can see it.
Yeah, I'll do a private link. I mean, I'll charge you admission because admission fees to festivals aren't free. So
no, that's fine. I'll give money to the arts.
Sweet. But yeah, we didn't really. We started shooting not knowing really what is going to become, and then by Sunday, and actually, it's the 77-hour things. I'm so trained to try to do things in 48 that, Sunday night and Monday, I was pretty relaxed to the point where, I was kind of experimenting with what to improve upon it. And, we're just kind of surprised by how it turned out. So
nice.
I'm very interested to see how people respond to it. Because like I said, when I do stuff that's not serious, it feels disingenuous. Like I'm just pretending to be serious. So we'll see what people think.
Love it. Cool. Well, I guess this is what's coming out on Blu-ray this week.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
Yeah, I meant to say last week, now that the drive-ins are closed, I'm really not doing the Rad Around Town until probably April. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, and I guess I should mention too, stay tuned because starting after Film Explosion 2021, we will be changing our format where we're going to focus on the movie of the week will be the first thing we do. And then after that, we'll talk maybe just like how we're talking now. And then if other people want to, they can contribute for the week. So if you have ideas of what you want us to contribute with, basically everybody's going to have their own forum, their own moment on the podcast. Because as I was listening to our podcast, I mean, Corinne has her Catching the Classics. You know, Zach has his golden Hollywood stuff. And I was hoping too, by doing this, maybe we can get the other nerds more involved in doing things as well. So stay tuned for that. That's happening in like 6 short weeks that the format will change. And we will also be at Denver Fan Expo in July. So next year will be fun again.
Yeah, things are coming back.
Yeah. If you want to pick up some Blu-rays this week, the new stuff is the normal price, but Best Buy is having a lot of good sales, and so is Amazon for like $10 Ultra HD movies. I picked up Godzilla and The Shawshank Redemption for $10 each.
Yeah, I grabbed Super 8 for like $8, the 4K version. So
nice.
Yeah, it's cool. Best Buy, you know, they send me emails and stuff like, hey, we're doing, like, they've been doing Black Friday deals for like 2 weeks now. It's fun to have my wish list and just pop in and see like, oh, you know, they dropped this in price by like $15.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it's I like that they spread it out because I mean it is kind of fun in the old days going in there and rushing to get stuff, but now it's, you know, I was at Best Buy today to pick up The Jungle Cruise, which is out on Ultra HD this week, and they already have all their displays up and stuff. So if you want to beat the crowds, some of the stuff is already on sale. So I picked up The Jungle Cruise on 4K. I got the Steelbook, which is kind of cool. It's like kind of looks like a ride poster that you'd see in Disneyland. Mulholland Drive is one of Criterion's first 4Ks, is out this week. Criterion is also releasing Once Upon a Time in China, which is 6 movies. So it's like the complete films. And I'm not too familiar with these, Brad. Do you know what they are?
No.
But it's a pretty big deal, I guess. I mean,
yeah, they seem important.
Yeah, I seem ignorant, and I should know, but they're a pretty big deal. I know is one of their big things.
I'm guessing I'm guessing they're the template for whatever. Like I'm sure, you know, there's like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and
or maybe like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's a template for. I don't know.
Well, I think there's an American version of it that, you know, ripped off this that people are mostly familiar with, but like the diehards know, like, oh yeah, the Once Upon a Time in China series, like that's the real hardcore nerd shit. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to pick it up now, it's half off. It's only $60, so that's not bad for 6 movies on Criterion. Yeah. Maniac Cop 2 and 3 are also in Ultra HD. I don't know if they're worth it, but Bruce Campbell is in number 2. Mad Max anthology is all in 4K, and they have Steelbooks as well, if you're interested in that. Candyman 2021 is out. The Middle Earth Ultimate Collection in Ultra HD is 31 discs, and I've been reading a lot of reviews, and they say it's not worth it, which is, it's so infuriating. They're a lot like another thing that's coming out, the Evil Dead Groovy Collection, where it seems like they have so many different versions of the movies that come out, but they never give you everything you want, which I think is just bullshit.
Yeah, I know. I kind of like passed over like last year's release of the Lord of the Rings because I was like, oh yeah, the next one's probably better. But yeah, this one's just way out of my price range, and then the other editions are just Blu-ray. So
yeah,
like,
so
cool. I missed the steelbooks for this. Thanks.
Yeah, honestly, what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to wait till the theatrical and extended cut Ultra HD's like alone, drop in price, and I'm going to get them because all the special features I have on my Ultimate Blu-rays are all the appendices and stuff, which so now it's really just about me getting the movies in Ultra HD because they're not going to give me any new special features that are worthwhile.
Yeah.
Paramount Classics has 2 movies that come out, Ragtime and Vanilla Sky with Tom Cruise, which is a better movie than I remember it being.
I believe it was on someone's film explosion list a couple months ago.
That's right. That would be me. Also, if you want to get a steel book that I wouldn't, Nicolas Cage's Prisoners of the Ghostland is available. I still don't know what that movie's really trying to say.
If anything,
I mean, I guess you can get one of your nuts shot off and be okay, and then scream at these weird people about it. What's the line where he screams? He's like, "With one testicle."
Yeah, that's exactly what he says.
Yeah, that's right. Here's a movie that I never thought would be on Blu-ray, and it's one of my guilty pleasures. It's Josie and the Pussycats from 1998, 2000, 2001, I guess, because it's 20th anniversary. And those are the highlights of...
Did you say the Harry Potter 20th anniversary collection? It's a train?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Train box? I mean, I'm looking at digital bits. It could be the wrong day, but...
No, I have Blu-ray.com and some of the stuff isn't loading, so that might be one of them.
Okay. Yeah, Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within is on 4K. That CGI Final Fantasy from like 2001. I guess that's the 20th anniversary of that one. It's a Wonderful Life as having a Blu-ray re-release. Maybe a 4K
release. Yeah, they
release.
seem to do that every year. If you're going to get It's a Wonderful Life, you get the 4K. It's freaking stunning.
Yeah, I've still never seen that movie.
Oh, it's good.
I've heard a lot. The Lost Leonardo is a documentary I watched a couple months ago. That's on Blu-ray.
Oh, that's right. Is that worth seeing?
I think so. I don't know if I'd own it, but I think it's worth watching. Maybe stream it.
Sweet. Oh, wait till it streams.
Yeah, I think you got it all.
Sweet. We watch things throughout the week in a segment I call What We've Been Watching.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
Brad, what you been watching this week?
I actually watched the Rocky versus Drago Rocky 4 re-edit.
Oh, shit. Is it good?
I don't know. I don't think it's interesting. I don't think it justifies its necessity. I think it was definitely like a fun thing that Stallone did while he was stuck at home during the pandemic. It definitely addresses everyone's egregious complaint that the robot is in it. I don't know. I feel like it's a product of its era, and I don't see why there can't be he's a multimillionaire. Why not have a ridiculous robot serving Paulie? Yeah. But yeah, other things include what's actually is more fascinating is it's for free on YouTube, but there's a documentary of him editing the movie. So just YouTube search, Rocky versus Drago, Stallone director's cut, and it'll probably come up. And
Interesting.
It's just his buddy, I forget his name, is just with him in the edit bay, going to this building in Los Angeles day after day. He just films it on his cell phone. And it shows Stallone, watching the film. He's not editing himself. He has an editor, but he's directing the edit. So he's like watching on a monitor, like what needs to go. And so you're watching him work out the decisions in his head.
This robot, we need to get rid of it.
Actually, that's like not in there. It's just like, I guess it's a given, but he talks about like these alternate shots of Dolph Lundgren. He re-edited it. I didn't see it when I watched it, but him explaining it, like there's alternate takes of Lundgren's performance that show that he is conflicted about fighting. like the original movie make it seems like he's just a machine that's out to beat the pulp out of anyone. But the new edit shows alternate takes where Lundgren is actually conflicted about being a part of this plan to embarrass the Americans. And so he has things he wants to say in interviews, like Apollo is like egging him on, but he kind of just sits there and takes it because he's being silenced by the Russian government, only say what's scripted.
Yeah.
So he's doing that. So there's like stuff like that. And he didn't go into it, but like the biggest thing I noticed while watching is at the end, in the original cut, Rocky makes a speech to bring both countries together. And, their Gorbachev lookalike stands up and applauds. And then like all his, are you doing something? It's like,
am I
scratching the mic?
Oh, no, sorry.
And applauds and everyone's happy. But in the new cut, Gorbachev stands up and leaves the room and is upset. And Drago's trainer definitely has a look of like, I'm going to get shot tomorrow for losing this fight. So yeah, that's changed. Bridget Nielsen is in it a lot less, obviously.
Break up with me, I'm going to cut you out of my movie.
Yeah. The Drago's coach gets more scenes. And there's like this, his conservative influence takes over, and there's like this subplot that becomes stronger of Apollo, reciting the mantra of the warrior. Like they have to fight Drago just to not feel like they're less of men. Like they have to they have this natural instinct to be fighters. So, before Rocky was just kind of like avenging his friend, but now he's arguing with Adrian that like he has this animal instinct to be a warrior, and to silence him and silence that instinct is like going against just his natural ability. So it's like, I'm willing to leave, even though I spent 2 movies like fighting for you and building a family. Like I'm willing to give all that up just to fight this Russian dude because he punched Apollo and killed him. Even though Apollo is like had every indication that he should give up that fight, it's just so. At the end of the documentary, once he's done editing the movie, he says like, always do what's in your best interest. Like, even if people tell you no, like always do what's right for you and ignore anyone saying otherwise. Like, just do what no social responsibility. Just step over everyone and do what you want and get what you want. It's like, oh man, that's not cool. Like, yeah, achieve your dreams, but like, don't ruin other people's lives to attain it. Like the sense of entitlement that he has towards like achieving your dreams. Like, yeah, like try to, but don't like ruin other people's life in the process. Like, don't be selfish. Yeah, but yeah, like otherwise the cuts there's just different things. There's just slight differences at this. There's not whole drastic. There's like in the early open when Apollo is trying to convince Rocky to fight instead of him for the publicity. There's like this long wide shot of them discussing on the lawn. It's like kind of boring. Like cut to an insert, please. So yeah, but yeah, it's fascinating to watch like this legend critique his own movie and just be embarrassed about like and admit to being vain back in his youth. There's a part where when he first is struggling with should I go avenge Apollo or not, so he jumps in his Ferrari or I don't know, I forget what his fancy car, and like argues with Adrian, jumps in his car and like does this night drive where it does a montage. And everyone knows that Rocky 4 is mostly like 2/3 montage, 1/3 plot. But there's like a lot of close-ups of just Stallone in the car, thinking. And so in the documentary, he's sitting there going like, "Oh, can we cut to a wider shot?" Like, there's just so much vanity in this scene of just like my close-up, and then admitting like the movie is so much montage. So, yeah, I think he's like yeah, we're gonna change it from color to black and white so it looks more artsy in the montage.
Huh.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just I don't think the movie has really changed that much. It's just it's like the Justice League Snyder cut. It's a cool, how taking a different path just kind of has a new perspective of things. But I don't think it really like, oh, this is a great vast improvement on the movie. Like this should be the definitive cut. It's just like, oh, that's a cool deviation.
Almost like, hey, I have nothing to do during this pandemic. I'm just gonna tinker with all this extra footage I have.
Yeah, like a more interesting thing is like, oh, I edited it so the Apollo lives. Like that's, or Rocky loses. Like that's that would be a more interesting thing than just like, oh yeah, I chose some different shots and tightened things up here and took out a subplot.
Yeah.
There's a part where I remembered Rocky goes to Russia and his training sucks for like the first half of it because, Adrian didn't want him to go and didn't approve of it.
Yeah.
So it's like once she does show up in Russia, then he finally does have that validation and then he can perform better. In this cut, he just goes to Russia, trains for a bit, and he doesn't seem to be having much of a problem with it other than like he's getting the hard luck version and Drago's getting all the science-based stuff. And then Adrian shows up and she's like, you know what? I just couldn't be without you. And then like nothing's changed. Like he wasn't having a hard time training. And now that she's there, it just kind of validates his like warrior mentality. And so it's like business as usual. So it just makes her just feel like a jerk for disagreeing in the first place. So yeah, she has like involvement in a story, I guess. Feels like a nag more, I guess. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think the Drago cut is like on Amazon Prime if you want to check out the edit, and then the documentary of it is on YouTube for free.
Yeah, I think I'm going to just because
Yeah, it's just if you're curious about film and how the process works and what decisions go into making these things, it's the documentary's a good addendum to this slightly changed cut.
Very cool.
He also improves there's shots where like punches don't connect, so he goes through and like makes it more accurate and more believable, I guess, in the fight.
Oh, nice.
Because I think the original cut, like really Drago just beats the shit out of him, and he just because he's Rocky, he can take all the hits.
Yeah.
But he re-edits it to have more of a back and forth, and it is actually a cool part. Like I said, with Drago, where the original cut doesn't show him having like his own personality, and in the new version, once he's starting to lose, his trainer comes down, he's like, "What are you doing?" And then Drago's like, "I'm fighting for me," instead of this country. So it's self-respect. But I actually forgot too, like in the original cut they kind of come to respect each other, but in the new version, after the speech, Rocky kind of goes up to him amidst the celebration, and Drago gives him like the cold shoulder, and then he's like, "Oh, okay, you're gonna be like that," and then like walks out of the ring, and then the movie ends there.
Interesting.
Which I think in the original one there was like an epilogue of like, yeah, we're all, but it actually feeds into like, remember in Creed 2 when you watch the movie, you're like, I thought these guys were on friendly terms since that fight. And when you watch Creed 2, like, no, they're still like antagonists. That new edit actually kind of supports the Creed 2 thing where they're not. I mean, they weren't Apollo best friends, but there didn't seem to be any animosity once they fought each other. But yeah, this new edit kind of seems like there's some bad blood after the fight. So
interesting.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm curious about filmmaking. Check it out. Yeah. Would you watch Ryan?
I really didn't watch too much this week. I've been playing PlayStation 5 a lot. So, and when we would do film explosions, I kind of take a break from watching movies, because I work on what I'm going to say about film explosion and stuff like that. But I watched My Man Godfrey, which is a movie from 1934, and one of the first, or maybe not the first, but one of the really landmark screwball comedies with Carol Lombard and William Powell. It's funny. It's a lot of screwball comedies from that time deal with the rich against the poor, because it was during the Depression, and how the poor are usually happier than the rich because money doesn't buy happiness, Brad. It does not. In it, they're doing a scavenger hunt, and one of the parts of the scavenger hunt is a man who's like basically a nothing man. And when she finds him, she decides to make him her butler, and her family's all crazy, and he's like not. And you find out things about him as the movie goes along. It's just a really goofy movie, but it's really funny, really well made. The Criterion's great. I watched Amazing Spider-Man with my kid. That movie's still fun. I think it looks really great. Just not quite up to the first trilogy, but still a fun film. And that's really it. You should pick up the new Rod Stewart album, The Tears of Hercules. You can read a track-by-track review on realnerdspodcast.com. Because
I'm sorry, we're reviewing music now? I thought this was a movie podcast.
It is, technically, but I also have access to our website, so I can put whatever I want on it.
Oh, well, I guess look for my Huey Lewis
do it.
Career breakdown.
You should do it. When I post those on the Rod Stewart fan pages, they really like them. So it's also a way of cheating to get people to go to our podcast website.
Does Rod Stewart have an iconic contribution to a soundtrack like Huey Lewis does in Back to the Future?
Not that iconic, but I would say, I mean, he does Twisting the Night Away for Inner Space, Faith of the Heart for Patch Adams, and Love Touch for Legal Eagles are probably his biggest movie soundtrack contributions. But as far as being transcending like Huey Lewis is Back in Time, no. Or The Power of Love, no.
Yeah. Hypothetically, you get the rights to the Friday the 13th franchise.
Yes.
And Rod Stewart somehow wants to contribute a song to that new movie.
Perfect.
Do you greenlight that?
Yeah. If I have all the money, and I would tell Rod Stewart, if I win Powerball, so here's the thing, is I would make the new Friday the 13th movie, you would direct it, and
have a Rod Stewart song on the soundtrack?
Yeah, I'd pay Rod Stewart $1 million to have a Rod Stewart song on the soundtrack.
You wouldn't think watching a Friday the 13th movie with a Rod Stewart theme song would be odd to watch?
Well, maybe you wouldn't make it the theme song, but the kids would be partying or something. Maybe and then they'd be dancing to it, and then Jason would show up. I can make it work.
Yeah, okay.
No, I need like a romantic comedy with a Rod Stewart theme song.
I was gonna say it's easy if it's just a song in the background, but I was thinking it maybe like a
him singing about Jason dying and coming back to life?
Yeah, like what was Alice Cooper did one for?
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah,
yeah, it's not that great of a song.
Like, do you get one of those for Rod Stewart?
Yes.
In the year 2021.
He'd probably tell us to piss off, but you don't know if you don't ask.
I guess we just set the movie in Britain, like Jason kills a bunch of Brits.
Yeah.
For once.
Well, I mean, Rod Stewart technically has homes all over the world, so it might be all right. Yeah, that's all I watched this week. Nothing that crazy. I'm playing Returnal, though, on PlayStation 5. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like Edge of Tomorrow. You're this lady and you're on this alien planet, and every time you die, you lose everything you've gained, and you have to go back and retrace your steps. and the world constantly changes. So it's kind of a cool game. I was worried that playing the same thing over and over again would get boring. So yeah, nothing that crazy for me. Kind of a mellow week.
Yeah, I made a movie, so I didn't watch a lot. I mean, I watched some Wes Anderson stuff, but like I said, I've been down that road before on this podcast, so nothing new to add.
Yeah. Cool. Well, this week we saw Belfast. Brad, do you recommend Belfast?
Holy shit, we're already at the end of this podcast already?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
There's only two of us.
Two of us, yeah. Yeah, I guess I recommend Belfast. I think if you're like me and have had no knowledge of Britain outside of pop culture in the 60s, you might go in feeling a little like what's going on, like I did. Like, what's the context for this? Because it's just a snapshot of Belfast, the town of Belfast in 1969. Little slice of life. So if that's interesting to you, I check it out. If not, it's okay. Like I didn't see anything that was like super. There wasn't anything that really blew me away about it. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, this is a family's life in Belfast.
Cool. Well, I'll take your word for it because I saw Red Notice instead of Belfast.
Oh, what the hell, man! You said you wanted to see this movie.
I know. Red Notice is pretty fun. If you're looking for an escape with three really good actors in an action comedy, I'd say see Red Notice, and it's on Netflix, so you can stream it. Here's the trailer for, I don't know, which one you want to play.
What the fuck? What am I supposed to do with this?
See, it's more fun if there's like more than just you and I, because I had this huge setup, and then it's like, well, I haven't done this in a long time. When's the last? I did this a couple times.
Yeah, gosh, like I just like we could have just like Zach was going to be here, and if I'd known that you didn't see the movie, I would have said like, let's just do it Wednesday.
Yep. But then Zach wasn't going to had other stuff pop up. So it really ruins my joke to like get everybody mad at me. And now it's just you and like, dude, seriously?
Well, yeah, you do deserve to have it ruined.
Yep.
Like if Zach had been here, he and I would have talked about Belfast at least. And you would have like done Red Notice and be like, haha, what a laugh. He screwed us again. But now we really do have nothing to do now on this already short show.
Yeah. Now it's just you and I talking about how my joke did not work because it's only you and I.
Yeah, I'm glad it backfired and blew up in your face, you fucking dick.
Now I'm trying to remember, what other movie did I do this on?
That was a long time ago. Probably like 2
really
or 3
long
years.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have it in my notes, but I look it up.
I like to do this every once in a while. I like to keep people on their toes.
Yeah, no, it's funny when at least 2 other people will watch the movie, but now we're really screwed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's play the trailer for Belfast. That's cool.
We all have a story to tell, but what makes each one different is not how the story ends, but rather the place where it begins.
Do you think me and that girl have a future?
Well, why the heck not?
You know she's a Catholic.
And you call me here?
Yes!
You know who you are. You're Buddy from Belfast, where everybody knows you. The whole family looks out for you.
Be good, son. If you can't be good,
be careful.
And that thought will keep you safe.
We're looking to cleanse the community. You wouldn't want to be the old man out in the street.
You touch my family and I'll kill you.
Was that our side that done all that?
There is no our side and their side in our street. Well, there didn't used to be anyway. We're living in a civil war. This is the time to make a new start.
My ma says if we went across the water, they wouldn't understand the way we talk.
Shouldn't be a problem. I've been married to your granny for 50 years. I've never understood a word you said. What do you want?
I want you and my granny to come too.
Bloody religion, that's a problem.
Then why are you sending us to church?
Because your granny'd kill me if it didn't.
We're not deaf back here.
How Why could I leave Belfast? Everybody likes them and everybody looks after them.
Belfast will still be here when you get back.
Will you?
I'm going nowhere you won't find me.
The Irish were born for leaving. Otherwise, the rest of the world would have no pubs. What do you want?
I want my family with me. I want you.
You know who you are. And wherever you go, and whatever you become, that'll always be the truth.
Be good, son. If you can't be good.
And if you can't be good, be careful.
I do think the trailer is really adorable, and I do want to see this movie. I've been working so much, and then Laura's been working so much that it only shows like 2 or 3 times a day. So it's hard for me to like break away and see it when I get off work.
Like, I was excited because it's a movie I want to see, and it's at the Esquire. So I was like, yeah, no brainer. Let's do this one.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, it's also playing at the Alamo, so Ryan could definitely get around to seeing it.
Yeah, exactly. Which normally I could, but the last showing was like at 9:30. I get off work at 9 if I'm lucky, and then I don't have time to drive down there. And then I thought Laura was off on Sunday, so I was going to go see it on Sunday, but the last showing on Sunday was like 4:20 in the afternoon. So the Alamo isn't quite back at full capacity.
Yeah.
Because they only do a few showings of each movie a day.
Well, hopefully in December, Littleton will be opened up and we'll have some more options.
I think it will be. I got a thing on my Facebook feed that they're hiring right now.
I know. I'm a little tempted to do it, but then I'm like, is it going to be one of those things where, like, once you see this, how the sausage is made, you learn to hate it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that Spider-Man will play there, and that'll be the first movie I see there.
I think once it does open, like, we should definitely, our first trip back should be a group Real Nerds thing for old times.
Oh yeah, no, I was even talking to Carol, and she wants to do that too. So if Spider-Man plays there, I mean, technically I work on that day, but I'm going to request, I'm just going to take it off. So I'm going to go see Spider-Man at 6 p.m.
Just tell all the other officers, look, this is really important.
Look, you guys got this. All right. Just leave me alone for 3 hours. And
what bad could possibly happen while I'm gone?
No, I mean, I'm actually, I'm like, my shift overlaps the 2 other officers that work that day's shift. So really, I really don't have to be there. It's nice that I'm there because we can work together and, get shit done. But, and I have like 240 hours of vacation time. So should use some of it.
Yeah.
To see Spider-Man.
Some people don't get vacation time, so definitely enjoy it.
Yeah.
Don't squander it, Ryan.
Never. So what is your favorite part about Belfast, Brad? What it looks like it was shot really well.
Well, it's in black and white, so it's really hard to watch. Just kidding. There's this joke that I can't watch black and white movies, even though, I was raised on Dick Van Dyke's show and Nick at Night. But yeah, I was actually just curious about what. So the movie Belfast is, you're watching this family live in this pocket of this town, and apparently there's like a war going on between the same religion, Protestant Catholics and just Catholics, and the Protestant Catholics, I guess, want to exterminate just the regular Catholics, or the other way around. I wasn't sure. One of the cool things was the movie opens with, drone shots of modern day Belfast. And then eventually it gets lower and lower, and there's a shot of a wall with some street art on it. And then it flies over the wall, and then it goes from color to gray scale on the other side, because it's going back in time to 1969. And, it shows this, like, there's kids playing in the street, and it's idyllic and everything. And then suddenly this mob rolls through and just starts smashing windows and, they roll a car in and make it explode. And the rest of the movie is really like you never really get outside the town or beyond like one or two streets of just people just trying to live their lives. And there's an economic depression, so there's like a lot of folks out of work, struggling to find jobs. But there's this religious group who, just because their beliefs are slightly different, think that they should die.
Wow.
And so they run through occasionally just terrorizing these people. And the family we're watching is actually part of their religion. But they're like, you guys are extremists. This is ridiculous. Like, we're happy to live amongst these slightly different believing people than we do. And so occasionally their leader will come over to try to recruit the dad, who like goes away to work for like 2 weeks in just England, and then shuttles back and forth. And so that's like putting a strain on raising the kids and the marriage. And he has this economic opportunity to, a path to upward mobility within the company. But his wife doesn't want to leave because she's so connected to Belfast. Despite that, her kids could get killed by these extremists any second. And eventually it takes it getting really bad for her to finally like realize that, her family is what matters, and the ties to this, this town and the structures within it aren't what's important.
Yeah.
So, like all the signs are there of like, dude, just leave. Like, there's no reason, like, just because your parents are here doesn't mean you have to stay here. Like, you need money. Your husband's doing really well, and there's opportunities. Like, just because the people in your town know your kids isn't like a good idea worth staying for. So, and everyone's like acting really well. They're all believable. And the kids are cute. The one boy has like this crush on a girl in his class, and in their class, the teacher does tests, and depending on how well you do on the test is where you sit in the class. So all the A students sit up front, all the failing students go to the back. And so the kid,
it'd be opposite.
What's that?
I think it'd be opposite. You'd have the people that struggle in the front so they can pay attention better.
You think that, right?
Yeah.
That's what I would do. I mean, I wouldn't segregate at all, but
I would be like, you're dumb as fuck. You need to sit up front.
But yeah, like to encourage learning, you'd have them sit there. But it's 1969. So, but anyway, like he's doing better on his tests, so he can get closer to the girl who's close to the front. So he'll do better on a math test, get third place when she's in second, and then eventually he does so well he gets second place, but then she does poorly, so she ends up farther back. So he just ends up across from the dude instead, who was in his play in the Lido class. So like that's fun. But yeah, he's like, he doesn't want to leave and throws a tantrum because that means he won't be around this girl anymore. So that's cute. But eventually, it comes around because like his life gets threatened by the terrorists at one point. So it's like, oh yeah, I guess I should listen to my parents and do this thing at the cost of losing her. But yeah, like I said, it's just like a little window into this piece of the world that I'm not familiar with. And like I said, I like to know the context. Because I was thinking, like, God, just even 40 years ago, we're just extremists, or just like, you're not my like Catholic, so you should die.
No, every time I think about stuff like that, it just blows my mind. That it's not even that long ago that in the United States we had segregated bathrooms and restaurants and schools, and it's embarrassing.
Yeah, I remember when I was in elementary school, like they had toilets that had like the black seat on it, and I just thought it was like, oh, cool, like it's a cool black seat, but apparently that's a holdover from segregation days when that was to designate which bathrooms African Americans could use.
Yeah.
It's public school. Like, why throw it away? It still does its job, but like, it's not black because it's cool. It's black because it was like, designating that a certain type of people weren't allowed to like use the bathroom, a certain bathroom. It's just like, wow. In 1980, probably 6, 7, that was still a thing.
I know. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, the rule wasn't in place. It's just like the structure of it still existed.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess how was Red Notice?
It's fun. It's Ryan Reynolds plays the second best art thief in the world, and The Rock. Do I just call him Dwayne Johnson now because he hasn't been The Rock in so long? Yeah, The Rock is an FBI profiler who is chasing down Ryan Reynolds. He captures him after he steals one of Cleopatra's 3 special treasure egg things. And when he does that, the real one gets switched out with a fake one. So The Rock is set up by Gal Gadot's The Bishop, who is the best art thief in the world. And then sparks and hilarity ensue. And that's about how deep Red Notice is.
Just a fun diversion.
It's a fun movie. I mean, it's hard for me to go into some deep philosophical explanation. Like yours has weight to it. You know what I mean? This one is, hey, do you like these 3 actors? Well, here's a really fun movie where they say funny things, have action set pieces, and then there's kind of like a silly plot twist stuff going on. It's like a heist movie with people you want to hang out with.
Are you going through withdrawals from Free Guy and Deadpool? Well, here's more Ryan Reynolds doing his shtick for you.
Yeah, there is a really funny thing circulating where Ryan Reynolds showed up on PBS's Antique Roadshow with one of these eggs, and they asked him if it was a family heirloom, and he says, "No, my family hates me." It's really funny. It's definitely in Ryan Reynolds' wheelhouse. It's in The Rock's wheelhouse. It's in Gal Gadot's wheelhouse. It's just like a fun movie, and if you have 2 hours to kill, it's one of the better Netflix original movies. I always think Netflix original movies sometimes have a problem with pacing and editing because there's no one there telling them they need to shorten it or trim it. One of the cool things about Netflix is you can make the movie you've always wanted to make. And
ideally, nothing would be short because everything long keeps people glued to the television and watching things. So
yeah, and they said it's the most watched first day movie ever on Netflix. But I mean, you can't. How do you quantify that to ticket sales? Or you can't. I mean, they just make money every month for people paying them. So I don't know if it moves the needle for people subscribing to Netflix, but I mean, it's fun. And I mean, there's car chases, shootings, fights. Yep. It's fun. It's just a heist movie with cool people.
Cool.
Yep.
Man. God, even if you had notified me, like I don't have Netflix, so I wouldn't even been able to watch it.
I know, that's part of the fun joke. There's no one else here to share in my "I'm fucking you over" joke. So all I did was I'm a dick to you. So that makes me a total fucking prick.
That's our leader. That's the leader of our podcast, everyone.
Yep. That's what I do. Next week.
I was gonna say, I think an episode title that merges these 2 movies together. But that's a problem for me. No
Fast Red. I don't know.
Red Fast.
Bell
Notice.
Bell Notice.
All right. Well, what are we doing next week?
Next week is Ghostbusters Afterlife.
That's right.
Which
should be cool.
I'll definitely going to see because my kid really wants to see it, and it's a movie I can take my kid to. I don't think he'd sit through Belfast. I don't know. Would he sit through Belfast?
I don't think so. There's no color on the screen.
Yeah.
Actually, there is. Sometimes the family goes to the movies, and the movies or the TV stuff will be in color that they're watching. But yeah, I think religious strife in Ireland in the 60s might be a little over his head.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he'll like give me a great soliloquy about the injustices. But no, we'll be seeing Ghostbusters Afterlife with People's Sexiest Man Alive 2021, Paul Rudd.
I don't know. I don't think I trust you now. I show up next week and suddenly it's, I don't know, whatever Netflix thing drops.
Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Yeah. Oh my God, I can't believe that's out.
Yeah. And it made like $18 million. No, I'll definitely be seeing Ghostbusters. That one's easy. I can take my kid to that one if my wife's working.
Someone tweeted, let's be honest, if Clifford the Big Red Dog actually existed, the city would have him destroyed.
Speaking of which, that Saturday Night Live clip you shared with me.
Oh man, I'm so bummed because it's only half of the, like I said, like, oh, this is dark humor, this is great. But then I actually watched it and it was only the first half, which has the least dark stuff in it.
I don't know. Steve Bannon could be sentenced to 1 to 2 years in prison, which for him will be a life sentence.
Yeah, but there's like 3 death jokes in a row in the second half after Sarah Sherman's bit, which was hilarious too. Like that whole. I
think it's really good. I'll watch it. I have Hulu and it's on Hulu right now, so I'll check it out.
Yeah, that whole episode was actually pretty good. But yeah, the whole weekend update was like just perfect. Yeah, the Laughintosh 3000 when Aristotletari is like he's a like a android comedian, right? And so like Joe asks him like, hey, like tell us a joke, and he just like searching. Yeah, tell me a joke about Staten Island. Searching. Staten Island sucks.
There is, is it 5 or 6 years ago where Colin Jost and Pete Davidson were talking about how they're both from Staten Island and how everybody loves Colin Jost and how they hate Peter Davidson. Is really funny.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't believe he's the longest serving Weekend Update anchor now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. It feels like he's brand new still.
Yeah, and how long is he? He's been the head writer for a while too.
Yeah, I think he's been there since like the mid 2000s.
Maybe when Seth Meyers left.
I mean, he's been at the desk since Seth Meyers left. But yeah, he beat Seth Meyers' record for being at that desk.
Wow. Which
when I went back and through and watched SNL, like it didn't feel like anybody's been there that long. But yeah, I guess 4 or 5 years is enough to beat it. So
interesting. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for listening. Have a good week. Bye.
Fuck you, Ryan.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Real Nerds Podcast. Real Nerds Podcast is a production of Nebulous Visions Multimedia. Thank you to Sparks Mandrill and Plan 9 Studios for our kick-ass theme song. Also, if you're in the Denver area and you're looking for a cool place to see movies, we see them at the Alamo Drafthouse in Littleton and now also in Sloan's Lake. Thank you to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics for supplying us with all our comic needs, especially you, Andrew. You know who you are. And a big shout out to James's mom. I'm giving you an electronic hug that you can feel through the airwaves. Thanks for listening, and have a nice day.